desire to have some kind of movement. So between myself and my husband who helped and some other people, that you find specialists, you find people who can, make these strange things. Can you make a box that has a computer in it that, can slowly move it, and these go back and forth, which is very exciting to me. And they move on intervals. So it's not a constant movement. It's hopefully gives you a sense of surprise, that you're maybe in this space and then all of a sudden that one moves and you didn't expect it to move. This one doesn't move because I wanted something a little bit different. Like I wanted you to feel like, okay, that it's not all the same, it's not all predictable. There's something that's not going to move, and some things are, but not at once. So, and that's I think part of where I got the title Lost and Found from. And I mean, that's a very sort of overarching title. Lost and found can be so many things. And for me, it was a little bit of like, lost and found in terms of looking through and hiding and like a little bit like a kid's game. And they're playful. I mean, my work does have a sense of play about it. Almost like playground, pieces that wouldn't really ever work as a playground. But the lost and found ended up, I think just in terms of looking through them, one of the things that drew me. But then, because of the timing of the show happening opened in March, just as we were kind of, coming out a little bit out into the open, it ended up being a lot about, what have we lost and what have we found? Kind of referring to retrieving joy in our world somehow from, is there some joy that we can, still feel? Can we, and then thinking about, what have we lost over these 2 years, and it's just been traumatic for everybody, I'm sure, but the title, is hopefully referring a little bit to that experience. So if you're trying to find an exact meaning, there isn't really one exact meaning in this piece. I'm hoping that it is an environment where you can come in and sit for a while and, watch the shadows move on the floor and hear the gongs, which I worked with a composer, Ken Field, who I had worked with earlier, and I told him that I wanted something not musical, but really meditative, that you would have this sense of a meditative and sort of calming experience in here. So that's what I'm hoping, that viewers do come in here, they do want to look around, they do want to look at both sides, they want to follow these things, and that you're surprised by the different things that you see in here. So yeah, that's to me, but what I hope for you is that you will have a sense of awareness, sort of centeredness here, and curiosity about these things, what they could be, what they could mean to you. So I'm happy to answer questions if anybody has anything they'd like to know. Pretty much what you see is, I hope what you get out of the experience, and very open to whatever your interpretation is. Yeah.
I just wanted to know a little bit more about the music. Is it going to be kept at this volume?
No, I'm going to turn it up when I'm talking. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It is. Yeah. Well, it's basically a series of bongs and sort of like bells and some percussion that just meant to enhance the experience. I think it's very hard to meld music and art. I think that's a very, very tricky thing, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But I do think that there's something about the sense of what you listen to in a space can set the tone, especially if all the work is meant to be seen at the same time. So I will take that and anybody else? A question? Yeah.
Am I off base to think of Calder? Was he any
Oh,
influence in
Elsie
that?
Calder I don't think of it as a direct reference, but certainly, this work. Nothing is new under the sun, and everybody has influences, and you are influenced by what you see, absolutely. So yeah. Yeah, anybody else?
I love the interplay of the forms and the shadows that it casts. Was that a deliberate part of the installation? Just happy coincidence? Or smart to
I
take advantage of it?
knew. That's the thing. My studio is not, great in terms of knowing what I'm going to see because it has a huge wall of windows, which is great for some things, but not controlled lighting. But I did know that light could cast interesting shadows for sure. But this was really fun to see on the floor. A lot of times it depends on how tall is the ceiling, what's the lighting like. I had a show at the Boston Sculptures Gallery early this year, and it was just, again, you couldn't control the lighting. It was just there were lights in the gallery, but on daylight, you couldn't see the shadows like this. So it is a little bit of happenstance, yeah. Anybody else? Yeah.
So, I have to ask, so what's next? Do you see you progressing in this same path or totally different, or where do you see that going?
Great question. I'm already kind of off on another tangent. It's sculptural and painting, but and still there will be some that will hang from the ceiling, but I'm now creating, I think they're totems, I think they're characters, or even architecture. But I'm stacking different shapes on top of things, and they're getting really high.
Wow.
So visit my Instagram feed and see what's next. But it's in some ways a reaction. These are very lyrical, graceful shapes, and then the newer work is not so graceful. It's got a little bit more grit, and the painting is kind of different. Maybe because I just really needed to do that.
Excuse me, Adria, your paintings, they evolve to this level, were they like these kind of images in your drawing?
Yeah. They were big, sort of graphic shapes with strong color and some pattern in them. They were similar. Yeah, they definitely. People have said, "Oh, this is like the shapes in your paintings come right out to life." So, yeah, it was very, very much like this. Yeah.
I've just been mesmerized by this one, and I keep saying it can't possibly be going up and down. It can't be going up and down. I'm looking at the distance of the wire, I'm looking at the distance from the floor, but because of the spiral, from all the world, it looks as if it's going down and coming up again.
I know, spirals are great. I have a vision of doing a whole room of spirals.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I would love to see different shaped ones and different width ones, and it would be crazy.
I know, that would be so fun. I know, I'd love to do that too. So yeah, it'd be nice.
Really, I was like, get me a yardstick so I could measure that from the bottom, because it's not possible, but your eye is completely fooled by that, and it seems as if that's what's going on.
That's like the barbershop,
exactly.
It always looks like it's never.
Or even a wine corkscrew.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I know. I love the. So also these whole things collapse. So when they're down, they're just flat. They are only sculptural because they're hung at points. And every time I hang them, it's different. So thanks for finding out.
That's very cool.
Excuse me, Adria, I was asked, how do you travel with these? They can fold up?
They just flat and down, but they also curve enough so that if you have a truck that is almost big enough, but not quite, you can, it's a pain. It's horrible. Really horrible. That's what I get for doing this. But I should figure out a way to, have them that you can take them apart, But it's, another level of technology that I guess I don't think I was really ready to get into here. But yeah, it's not so bad.
And Adria, how do you decide which ones are going to move and what are going to be static?
It's a little bit of, sort of random. I mean,
No specific criteria.
it's kind of, that's like
You feel your gut feeling.
your gut feeling, like it is when you're in here. How many of these pieces should, fill this room? How many are too many? How many are not enough? This one ended up not flying, but ending up on a wall, because I didn't think there was enough room in here. You want to be careful not to make it so crowded you can't walk in, but that people don't feel invited to go in, and yet, that ended up being kind of nice to look at when you're sitting on that side and have this reference. So, that's what they look like when they're flying, just like that.
Did you make a lot more than you
Yes.
installed?
I guess that between the Boston sculpture show and this one, I think I've shown all of them, but yeah,
How many didn't make the cut?
they all actually, no, I did show.
No, I mean, but in this space.
Oh, in this space, I'd say 2 or 3. Yeah, because I just realized when I got here, that's the thing, you don't know until you're in the space how many. You just always bring more than you think you need, and you don't know. And it's usually less is more. So.
This works very nicely.
Thank you. Well, 3 is a good number because it's not too predictable. That is.
I totally want that one. I'm sorry for this one.
Yeah, this one inside. Oh, that's funny. That's very funny.
My watermark.
It's really fun to think about how it can be rearranged and put in different ways. So, any other thoughts? And I'm going to try to move the sound back on. And so, feel free to just enjoy yourself in the space and, feel free to walk through it. I really do want you to appreciate it from all different things and see what you see when you see overlapping shapes and you peek through some other holes here. So, thank you. Thank you so much for being here. And